Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the mayor of the Deepstone Crypt. Insert new tag, the Jotun Toten, Josh Finney.
I hate you so much.
No, you don't.
How's it going, Corey?
You do not hate me. You knew that. So, fun fact, Josh. That was a fan-requested tag.
Was it really?
Yes, that was not mine.
Who was that requested from?
Hold on. I gotta check the email. It was, who was it? I gotta check the email. But yeah, it was a fan-requested one. I'm like, I gotta do that for Josh.
That's amazing. I love it. Whoever you are, that's great. It didn't come from Corey. It came from you.
This was an email. There was no question attached. There was no anything. It was just like, hey, Josh gets nicknames. We should make it Jotun Toten.
Jotun Toten, that's so great. Guys, whenever I get the Jotun toaster, I'm going to make toast, and I'm literally going to tote my Jot onto the podcast.
Do it. This came from Jason L. I can't pronounce your last name. That is way too long.
Jason. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like that. The Jotun Toten Mare.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep.
I like it.
How are you, Josh?
I'm good, Corey. How are you?
Depends on where I'm at in the day, but
it's fair. It's fair.
Look, it's Thursday. It's Tower Casuals Day. We just got done recording a video about Xbox and Bethesda.
Did we ever?
We did. It went a lot longer than I expected, but what doesn't go longer than we expect at this point?
By about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm good. It's been a long couple weeks. I've my work schedule changed, and when you get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to get ready and go to work, Josh, and you leave for work at 5:30 in the morning,
it wears on you.
Yeah. Plus, like, doing all this stuff at night, probably not smart. Burning the candle at both ends,
Yeah.
But I'm making it work. I would like to thank Monster Energy for providing me with the energy I need for this podcast. We are not sponsored, but I would like to be. So if anybody at Monster Energy is listening to Tower Casuals, you can email me. You can email towercasuals@gmail.com. I will get back to you with my home address. And you can send me all of the Ultra Rosa you want. Man. Josh, it's time to talk Destiny. I know the TWAB is shorter this week. I know we got a couple things to talk about. Also, side note, Destiny's social media accounts have changed into Kydal.
This is quietly brilliant. We're kind of starting to wonder if this is maybe an ARG style game.
Yeah.
In a way, Bife is losing his mind right now.
I know.
Anybody who does not follow My Name is Bife, he's kind of losing his mind trying to figure out if these are canonical or not. Because if they are, there is actually a massive implication in something that the account said on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which we will get to. We're going to do Lore Corner again a little bit differently. We're going to cover the two pieces we got for the seasonal quest, but we're also going to talk about that awesome cutscene.
Yeah, I do. I speaking on the social media account though, I'm a little worried about our friend Nerd Generalist. Okay,
he has taken on the moniker of Shah Han.
Yeah, he's taken on the moniker of Shah Han, but he's also thirsty for Kydal in his tweets towards the account.
He is, and I'm not sure I'm okay with this.
No, Nerd, I'm worried about you. Okay,
I was alarmed to wake up to that this morning.
Yeah, look, I'm worried. I'm worried about you. We're worried. DM us. Are you okay? Are you trapped?
Safe space.
Yeah, safe space. Tower Casuals LFG chat. Safe space. So, all right, Josh, let's get into it. What are we getting into?
Let's do it. We're going to start with the TWAB, like always.
The TWAB.
The TWAB.
The TWAB. You sound like Big Mouth characters.
Not a whole lot this week. There's a lot of Stasis patch notes. We'll read some of the Stasis nerfs that are coming on the 23rd of March. We're going to highlight a couple of bigger things from the patch note. I think there were a couple things in the patch notes I wanted to highlight. But Grandmasters are returning next week. For those of you who have never done a Grandmaster, how they're set, strike difficulty is 1350 power. The minimum power required to even launch it is 1325. Contest mode is enabled, so even if you go higher than that, you will be capped at 1325. Each strike has a specific set of modifiers to ramp up difficulty, such as Oops, All Champions, and Match Game. One Grandmaster a week until April 20th, and on April 20th, all of them will open for the last few weeks of the season. They will have the opportunity to drop the 3 Nightfall weapons as Adept versions, as well as Adept mods, which previously Adept mods were only available, starting this season actually, in Trials of Osiris if you went flawless. This is really cool. This is PvE pinnacle right here. Grandmasters and raids, that's where it's at, boys. I, for one, am going to be trying my first Grandmaster this season, if I can get my power level high enough, and I don't just completely hate my life when I do it.
Mm. That's not going to happen. You know you're going to hate your life.
It's not, but I really want an Adept Shadow Price. I really like Shadow Price, even though it fires a little bit slower than my other auto rifles. And, of course, I know a lot of people are going to be chasing that Adept Palindrome when it happens.
Yep.
Which, that's probably going to fall on Fallen Saber week.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, good luck, everyone who wants that one.
Yeah, have fun.
Freaking luck. It's the first time you can earn the Gilded Conqueror title. If you get that, I'm literally going to say you're probably one of the best PvE players in the entire game. Anywhere in the world. Just like if you have Gilded Unbroken or Gilded Flawless, you are just flat out one of the best. If you have Gilded Dredgen, that's not a big deal. Let's be honest. That just means you hate your life and you won 50 matches of Gambit already this season. Shout out Nerd Generalist.
Yeah. Talk about somebody who hates their life. Just kidding.
But yeah, that's it for Grandmasters. Patch notes. They fixed a bunch of stuff in Fallen Saber and Devil's Lair. Some armor issues are fixed as well, I believe. Yeah, some armor issues are fixed as well. This is the long fabled Arbalest aim assist nerf is finally here. That's the big one. It is happening on the 16th, making it harder to hit headshots in the Crucible. Frenzy and Cranial Spike perks will use correct buff icons. And then... Yeah, that's it. Flavor text for several seasonal weapons. So that's stuff that I like to see. But other than that, yeah, it's just it's a lot of stuff in those 2 strikes. And I think they did fix something with Dune Marchers. Linear Actuators exotic perk for the Dune Marchers, which was not triggering properly. The perk now behaves as expected, triggering on each or subsequent melee strike after an appropriate amount of sprint time. So Dune Marchers are finally fixed for all of you Titans who love to wear Dune Marchers.
That's me.
Our friend A1 Johnny loves the Dune Marchers.
I love a good Dune Marchers. I wore those in the Leviathan raid strictly for the gauntlet. Yep. It was awesome.
I'm moving right along. You've got the Stasis. You got the Stasis nerfs. There's a cooldown now between... I'm just going to hit a couple of the big points here. For the Hunters, there's a cooldown now between Shatter Dives. You have to wait 4 seconds between, and you no longer have an overshield when you go to actually slam. Withering Blade damage against players reduced from 90 to 65. PvE is unchanged. Slow stacks applied, down from 60 down to 40. And target acquisition after you hit a player is nerfed, so that you're not stringing along. Like, it nerfs after each target, which is really good news in the Crucible, especially with Iron Bananas coming back up here pretty soon.
Gosh, that's already like 2 weeks away.
And all of this is unchanged for PvE, which is good because that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
The Titan removed AoE freeze against players on Super Cast. Thank God.
Great.
Damage resistance while in Super from 60% to 50%. Increased the energy cost of using Shiver Strike while in Glacier from 3 to 7% super energy, and the combo into the heavy slam attack will now cost the full super energy, which I really like. Warlocks, improved tracking of the projectiles, which I'm going to tell you, they were already tracking really well. Increased the size of the proximity detonation, which, I mean, they basically just like undid a lot of damages there, it seems. Yeah. Decreased penumbral damage against players from 80 to 30. I know that was a big concern. Ice flare bolts, target acquisition increased by 33%, and turning speed so they can more effectively hit nearby targets. And then Chaos Reach, decreased amount of super energy refueled when canceling early. And then there's just a whole lot in the general one. I encourage you to go read these. The only one I'm really going to note here is Stasis Fragment Quest, significantly reduced objective completion values for all Crucible Fragment Quests. That is music to my ears. I had to get rid of a few of mine at the beginning of the season and just switch to Vanguard, which was almost as annoying, but not as bad because they wanted me to get a lot of stuff I couldn't get done in Crucible, frankly. Yeah. The Duskfield grenades are massively nerfed. Again, really encourage you to go read this particular paragraph where it says general. There's a lot for Duskfields. They're not going to pull you nearly as far now when they're activated, which is good. That was a problem if you were in lanes, especially in competitive or in trials.
Right.
So thank God, nothing and almost none of this stuff has changed in PvE. They are really learning how to fine tune it in both.
Good.
Which is good. So I'd like to see some buffs to some of these light subclasses in PvE too, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'd like that to maybe where I don't have to have a super in order to make certain things viable in PvE anymore. The last major thing that we have, though, Trials is being re-enabled this weekend after it's been gone for 2 weeks. Presage scannables are on a weekly lockout. That is working as intended. I know that's been a question the Nerd Generalist and I were trying to find the answer to and couldn't.
Right.
There's 3 different weeks of scannables to line up with the 3 different dialogues you can get in that mission. I think we're currently somewhere at the end of week 2, beginning of week 3 or something. So I may have to run that and get the rest of the scannables for this week to make sure I can get them all next week and finish up. And of course, last week we told you guys about Team Dino versus Team Monster. Team Dino won.
They did.
81% to 19%. They didn't just win. This was an annihilation.
Yeah. Yeah. It was yeah, it was pretty handily one. Also,
they did say there. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we did put up a poll on Tower Casual's Twitter too. Team Dino or Team Monster. Let me see if I can find it. Team Dino won our poll too at 85.7%. So
yeah, it's pretty resounding. It's Team Dino, man. They have some community art from somebody, and it's clearly for the Hunter class. And if that's how I look, I can't wait for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm buying some multiple classes. I'm just going to be a dinosaur forever.
I know.
They did note, though, there is still an opportunity in the future for the monster ornaments to see the light of day.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, we talked about that, right? Where, like, you know, maybe down the line you just say, hey, maybe like the last week of Festival of the Lost or something, put them in the store for Bright Dust or Silver or something.
Put them in the store, make them earnable by doing whatever the haunted activity is. Please not Haunted Forest. Whatever the haunted activity is, though, like, you know, maybe you make them earnable, or, hey, they're earnable in, like, Legend Lost sectors or something over that week, or something like that. I don't know. Like, you tie each one to a different activity. There could be some really cool things to do. I don't know. Tie them to seasonal challenges during Festival of the Lost.
Right.
Which, we're going to talk seasonal challenges here in just a minute.
Yeah, we are.
But I really, really like this. They do note, they said, we had a great time watching the data as it built a clear story of which ornament sets would be chosen. We won't hold votes for everything we do in Destiny. We're excited to do more of these in the future, so stay tuned. I like this. I don't want it for everything. I want to still be surprised, but this, to me, this was pretty much, there was pretty clearly an attempt to, like, kind of get on the good side of the community and, like, have some fun. Mm-hmm. Because I think we were all surprised at how good the festival armor was this past year.
Yeah.
In the shop, I think all 3 classes had a pretty solid set. And here, for me, it was, let's be honest, it was pretty clear which set was better. I think the Hunters won either way. We would have been Godzilla otherwise.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I really like. And to be fair, I like both sets. I would happily get both sets.
Yeah.
This is really cool, though. I want more of this. Can you guys let us vote on the Dawning Armor this year? Because it's like all kind of looked the same for a few years. With the exception of this last year. This last year, it did look really good.
I'm just excited that the Titan is a T-Rex and I can walk around looking like Grimlock from Transformers.
It's pretty great. Do you please talk like him too? Me Grimlock.
Me Grimlock. Me Stomp. Hive God. I don't know. That was accurate, right?
That was pretty good. That's how I remember it in 1986.
Yeah. When
you got the touch.
Yeah. You got the power. Wow.
I love that movie.
Who's letting us do this?
What?
Who's letting us run this podcast? Who's
I don't know. Somebody take us off the feed. I've got full 1986 Transformers.
Oh, God.
Dude, okay, so we joke about that. Segueing into Transformers for a second, I have the steel book of that movie, which is, it's Optimus standing with his gun up in the air, and it's Rodimus opening the Matrix on the cover of the steel book.
Right.
And then I have a Rodimus Prime action figure that I've had in the box for like 15 years in like a nice, like, you open the box and you can see him in there.
Wow.
That sits on my shelf and has sat on my desk, no shit, since I was like 15.
Wow.
Because I love that movie so much.
I have a Optimus, like one of the Titanium series Optimus Primes up on my shelf.
Yeah.
It's probably way too heavy for the shelf that it's on, honestly, and I'm surprised the shelf hasn't fallen at least 3 times. But
as I look nervously at my shelf and then remember, oh, thank God, it's all lightweight stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to redo all my shelving because of there's a new child entering my house and
challenger approaching.
Yeah, a new light is approaching.
Oh God, no! Don't. They're going to be mentored by Sean.
No.
But Corey, before we talk about that awesome cutscene, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about over the last couple weeks, and it kind of hit a pinnacle when I was talking with Nerd Generalist the other day. Me, him, and our friend Matt were all in a party hanging out. And like we've kind of gotten used to doing, we're on Right at Reset on Tuesdays right now to do the quest before we get spoiled on Twitter by all the content creators. Particularly, Bife, I love you, but You've almost ruined it for me a couple of times now because I've seen your replies to the accounts are going like, oh my God, go do it. Like, this changes everything.
Right.
Like, dude, you got to stop saying this. Like, I'm at the grocery store half the time when this is happening. The weekly challenges. I've said it a couple of times now. I love this system. I think this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If I can offer some constructive feedback, though, on these. We knew this was going to be a growing process. Bungie said it themselves, like they wanted our feedback, even however brutally honest it was. The Infamy ranks triumph or challenge is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So it says rank up 5 times. That means 5 major ranks. You essentially have to do an entire reset to get this done. Which I don't know if y'all know, but getting to Legend is a pain in the ass in Infamy.
Yeah.
You have to win for that entire band. Or do bounties. That's the only way you can do it. So that's why so many of us try to line it up with Triple Infamy Weekend. This is not a retroactive one. So like Nerd Generalist finished his Gilded Dredgen the night before this challenge went live. He now has to play another entire reset of Gambit in order to get this challenge done. This is like, so when we're going to have to do this for Valor, because it's been data mined, I have the whole list in front of me of triumphs for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Or not challenges.
Yeah.
The Valor one is going to go live, I believe, in 2 weeks. Week 7. This coming week is week 6, and then it's going to be week 7 is when that's going to go live, which lines up with the next Iron Banner.
Right.
That one we're presuming is not going to be retroactive either, and that is 5 major ranks in Valor, which is basically a reset. It is a lot easier to reset in the Crucible than in Gambit. A lot easier, in my opinion, at least. Especially if you go play on like triple rank weekend, just go hang out in whatever the rotator is or in control. You'll win eventually. Do a lot of bounties. Save your bounties up for that. I don't know.
Save the bounties.
I guess my issue is that some of these things are retroactive and some aren't. So like earning Cabal Gold is retroactive for past weeks.
Yeah.
I had earned up to 450 at the beginning of this week. So I was already almost done with this week's challenge on that. There's some for shattering the chests. I had already done that in a previous week. So all I had to do was focus the tier 3 engram. But then you have things like this. None of the Gambit ones have been retroactive. And let me, if I may, I know we don't talk data mine information on here, but this is challenges. This is things I think the community needs to know. Some of these ones that you do, there are 77 challenges in total. You have to do 75 of these in order to get your 4,000 Bright Dust at the end of the season, which is not bad. Most of these challenges are extremely easy, and you will get them just by playing, especially if you stack them up at the end of the season. There are some that will be a real grind if you leave them, but if you start working on them now, you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you come in like the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, unless you know life this game, don't expect to get that, and don't throw a fit when you don't get all your rewards. Right? That 4,000 Bright Dust to me is a reward for people who pretty consistently keep up with it. Took a few breaks here and there, but they've pretty consistently at least logged in once or twice a week during the season.
Right.
Which is the point I've gotten to now. Right? Some of the ones you have to do going forward. Acquire the season, and this starts this week, because this is where I think they started getting a little, well, last week, I guess, is where it started getting a little crazy. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Bonus progress for wins. Not too bad. If you can get 5 wins, you're done. Just go play the freelance playlist. Okay. Competitive, though, you see that word, that's going to deter some people automatically. They're going to go, no, I'm not doing that. That's one of your 2 you can skip right there if you choose to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So here are things you have to do. Acquire the seasonal ritual weapon. If you're playing this all the time, you're probably going to have done that already. Unlock 5 more lenses in the prismatic recaster. If you've been playing, you've already done this. It'll be auto-completed for you when you log in this week.
Yeah.
Now, the seasonal ritual weapon was really cool because last week we had some for the first time that were double XP, which also means double Bright Dust. You were getting 150 instead of 75. This week you're getting 300 Bright Dust and 4 times the XP. Me turning in the one for the ritual weapon, I turned in ritual weapon and a couple of other things all at the same time. I kid you not, I went up 10 ranks on my season pass.
Jeez.
10 ranks. My season pass was already done. I got 2 Bright Ingrams just from hanging out there, turning in seasonal challenges in the helm.
Jeez.
Yeah, because you have the XP booster for the beginning of the week, too, for your first 5 ranks.
Right.
So that quad XP basically filled out those 5 for me. That's awesome. That's going to happen on a lot of these big ones, like your 5 infamy ranks, your 5 valor ranks. That's going to happen on those. You're getting double for the competitive one. So acquire the seasonal ritual weapon, 5 major infamy ranks, which is a pain. And then starting next week, you have 1 for each of the next 3 weeks, which is acquire each of the ornaments for this gun. Again, if you've acquired it, earning those probably isn't too bad, but I know some people are going to go, oh god, I have to take a rocket launcher into the Crucible. Dudes, wait for it to be Mayhem or even like just regular old Control.
Mayhem's coming back, what, next week?
Probably.
Yeah.
Take Deafening Whisper, which you can still go get a really good roll on if you go do the Season to Hunt stuff. It won't be Sunset either, so you can go do it. Or, honestly, do what I did. Buy Mountaintop out of the kiosk and go nuts. Get that hate mail. People are like, I thought this was Sunset. You're using such a bitch-ass gun. You're damn right I'm using a bitch-ass gun.
Have you seen my Crucible skills?
Yeah, have you seen me? I have this and Wendigo on in Control. Of course I'm not trying. Unlock, let's see, unlock 10 more lenses, and there's going to be a 15 lenses one too. The 15 means you basically have to unlock every lens, which means, guess what? Some of those require you to get 2,100 kills with said weapon type. So, like, between sidearms and SMGs, you gotta get 2,100 kills. Between bows and snipers, 2,100. Between linear fusion and rocket launchers, 1,500. That's a pain.
Yeah.
There's one that requires you to break open 30 chests in Battlegrounds. That's a lot. Like, some of these take time. You have to kind of start planning these out ahead of time, but they're assuming you've been playing this the whole season. I prefer to have this told to me up front. You know, I'm not saying you have to tell me what's going to happen every week, but some of these Gambit ones we're about to get into right now, you've got to start giving retroactive progress on these. I don't care if you got to deploy a patch or whatever. One of them is 40 Primeval Envoys in Gambit. At minimum, at most, that's going to take you probably about 20 matches to do if you only kill 2.
Yeah.
We don't know if this counts for people in your game killing them, though, or you personally not have to get the final blow, but have to get hits in at least.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a pain, especially for those of us who have already slogged out so much Gambit. There is another one that will be the next week, which is defeat 40 Guardians in Gambit. Bonus progress for defeating them as an invader. Most of us have already done that step for Gilded Dredgen.
Right.
And I can guarantee you if it follows the rest of the Gambit ones, it's not going to be retroactive.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Another one, this one is admittedly not as bad as I thought it would be. We all dreaded the Grandmaster and the Trials one. So one of them is complete a Grandmaster Nightfall. I'll tell you right now, I'm probably skipping that one. That's going to be one of my 2.
Yeah.
But there are some people who are so put off by any mention of excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. By any mention of Trials or Comp that they won't even touch them.
Yeah.
The Trials one requires you to win 7 rounds. Not matches, 7 rounds. You can win like 2 or 3 rounds in match 1, still lose the match, and just reset your card and go back in on round 1.
Right.
And you will get progress for that. That is another one where it probably would behoove them to give us prior progress, but I almost guarantee you they won't.
Right.
And that's kind of annoying because that's coming up in week 8. That's getting towards the end of the season. There's only 13 weeks in the season. Week 9, focus a tier 3 Umbral Ingram. Okay. That requires like 5 charges out of the hammer. So hope you've been buying the right upgrades so you're not killing yourself to get 5 charges.
Right.
Defeat targets anywhere with a full armor set. Okay, just get all your season pass armor. And then in the last week, 15 lenses at the Prismatic Recaster. Defeat 80 Guardians in the Iron Banner playlist with elemental takedowns. Bonus progress for Stasis. On the surface, that's not a difficult one. But again, so many people are so mad at PvP right now, they don't want to touch this.
So does elemental mean like energy weapons and stuff too?
Yes.
Or does that just mean like super abilities?
I'm assuming it means energy weapons. If it means energy weapons, boys, put on Jotun and go to town. I endorse this.
Tote and Jotun.
Tote your Jotuns. Put on your Nova Bombs, put on your Thunder Crashes, your Blade Barrages, whatever you got to put on. It really doesn't matter at that point. So that could either be a really easy one or it could be a real pain in the ass. But by point, most of us have played 2 or 3 Iron Banners. We really don't want to go through another one, even for a few matches. I'll tell you right now, I'm 1 Iron Banner in and I'm already done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have to for a seasonal challenge. So it's just, I like the seasonal challenges. And again, these would not be bad if I was gaining progress for everything throughout the season, not just for the seasonal stuff. But thank God you're giving me progress for the seasonal stuff throughout, and I'm not having to redo these every week. I'm not having to earn 300 Cabal Gold every week.
Right.
Because I'll tell you something, I'm not running that many Battlegrounds. I'm at the point where I'm just re-slotting runes just so I can earn more Cabal Gold towards these things. And I think I'm done with all of those now for the season.
Yeah.
But the rewards are not bad. They really aren't. You get your war table reputations. You can earn every single seasonal weapon through the Challengers Proving quests every week, or Contenders Ascent, excuse me, not Challengers, whatever I said. Almost all of the stuff in the final few weeks of the season, pretty much starting from now, offer double or quadruple XP going forward. or weapons of some kind. A lot of them offer bright dust. The trials one, and this is why I'm going to encourage everyone to go do trials. The reward for that is not only quadruple XP and bright dust, you will also get a Trials of Osiris weapon. Which, if I had to bet money, is going to be the week that they give away Igneous Hammer. The hand cannon.
Mm-hmm.
It will either be that or it will be Messenger, which everybody was going nuts for. It will give everybody a chance to earn Messenger. So, which honestly, if Messenger comes back up, guys, go lose your way to a Messenger. So you can turn in your tokens at least. You can get 2 chances at a roll.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the 2 that they'll probably have set up for that weekend. One of those for that reward. I don't know, though. Again, this is data mine. This is all subject to change. And Bungie, could come out with a patch for some of this stuff, right? But it just goes back to, please, you've done such a good system here. This is the easiest it's ever been to do the season pass.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute easiest. Even easier. It's easier than it was when Shadowkeep or Beyond Light came out. Those were major expansions. I had this done by the end of week 3 or 4. Week 4? I finished at the very beginning of week 4. We're in week 5 right now. This is awesome. Please keep this going. I've never felt less pressure to play Destiny, but I'm coming back because, as we're going to get into in a little bit, the narrative structure of the season has been what's got me coming back. But I also find myself wanting to do some of these challenges. I'm willingly playing Gambit for the first time in probably a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not here to just, oh my god, I'm here to grind out, get my ritual weapon, and leave.
Yeah.
I'm willingly playing it, not just because I'm trying to get a gilded title so I can say I have one and be done with it. I'm here because I'm actually having kind of fun when I get a 4-stat going in Gambit. I'm having fun invading for the first time ever, but I want you to credit that progress I've already done. I've taken down like 50 Guardians this season. I want credit for that. I'm not an invader guy.
Yeah.
I play with people who are. And so it becomes a race of who can get to the portal. Like, hi, I need it. I need those kills, and it's going to take me like 15 matches probably to get those 40.
Yeah. I like invading in Gambit. I think it's fun.
I like it. I'm just not any good at it. So I have to choose. Do I use Bad Omens or Truth? Which tracking rockets do I use? Because I don't have Eyes of Tomorrow yet.
Truth.
Tanix has not seen fit to drop it for me. But Corey, I want to get your take. I've been ranting a lot. I want to get your take on seasonal challenges.
I like them a lot, especially because I haven't really had a lot of time recently to do any, and it gives me something small to go after, and it's fun because sometimes, like you said, when I log in the next week and I already have 1 or 2 done every week anyway because of just stuff I've been doing naturally in the game. But, we've been trying to get stuff ready for the new baby, and it's just been a fun time around here, Josh, let me tell you. See that swing back there in the corner of my room? Yeah.
I cannot see it from here.
There's a baby swing, and there's all kinds of...
I see the curtains up. They're very nice.
Yeah, well, that's hiding the trash pile of kid toys that are in the kids' playroom behind me, but... Yeah, I don't know, man. I like the seasonal challenges. I think that some of them could be, I think there's a good mix of challenging and easier ones to get, because I know a lot of people play this game by themselves or with 1 or 2 other people and don't have the time or the, really the I guess talent's probably the wrong word, but to grind out some things. But yeah, this is a good way if you have a half hour or 45 minutes to get something done and you don't really know what to do, you can go to your seasonal challenge list and grind some stuff out.
Right. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be a little presumptuous when I say this, but you're going to run out of time towards the end of the season to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
With a new baby on the way and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great way for, if you have, like you said, 30, 45 minutes to log in, you can get some challenges done. You can be like, hey, I'm going to hop into this playlist with you guys, and I won't be on comms, but I'm going to play with you. Or I'm just going to matchmake into some strikes and work on the seasonal ritual weapon if I don't have it yet. It offers an avenue just from doing this to finish your season pass.
Mm-hmm.
I have never felt less pressured to pick up bounties in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm still doing those bounties because I'm running strikes every week now for the Nightfall weapons, right? And that novelty is going to wear off real fast if they don't have a new one next season, or I'm not, getting consistent drops. I still haven't gotten a swarm.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm gonna go do strikes, I'll pick up bounties. But if I forget, it's just like, oh well,
right?
Whoops, like, oh well.
There has been a growing request in the fan community, and I have to agree with this. Please make the Vanguard bounties work in anything in the Vanguard tab. So, like, let these be earnable in Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I would much rather be doing some of these
activity is.
Yeah, I like the Battleground stuff a lot more than running the same strikes over and over again.
It's refreshing, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh God, I have to go do Battlegrounds. If I have to do the first one on goddamn Nessus again, I'm at the point where I'm just going to orbit when I get the very first Battleground. I can't do this one again. I've done this for like 15 of my 20 so far, I swear.
Yeah.
I'd much rather go do the other 3.
I like the one on Europa a lot.
I do want on Europa. This is what we talk about when we talk about using existing spaces again.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great example of how to do that, but you make it feel fresh too.
Right.
I like the Cosmodrome one a lot personally because we don't have a whole lot of reason to go to the Cosmodrome.
Right. Yeah, and it's like this tight little space up there. Like you're just like,
It's the most frantic one in my opinion.
Yeah, it's awesome though.
Yeah, in terms of enemies, it's fantastic. I love the enemy density in that, and at the beginning of the Europa one are just awesome.
Yeah.
I like those. We talked about wanting more of that. I'd like to see some more rewards, and they've talked about this. In future seasons, they want to tie more physical rewards to completing these challenges. But when I say physical, I mean like giving us weapon rolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really good thing for you to do. To give those to people. I'd like maybe if you gave us like a super focused engram or something, like give us a chance at a high stat roll, or like give us 2 focused engrams or something for completing the submachine gun one, for example, or for completing the Code Duello one, because we all want Code Duello. Like I'll be running stuff after the season now that things don't sunset, purely to try and get that with those mini rockets.
Right.
Because I'm the only person apparently who can't get it to drop.
Yeah, you are. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm in the same exact. I've had 3 of those rocket launchers drop since the beginning of the season, and only one of them has been semi-usable. I did get it with chain reaction, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that, but if I'm going to use chain reaction, it's going to be on a grenade launcher, frankly. So Corey, any more thoughts on the challenges system, on any changes that need to be made, et cetera, et cetera?
No, I'm just trying to grind out some stuff,
Are you finding like the XP and the bright dust that you get out of this to be worth it as of now? As somebody who may not finish,
I mean,
75
yeah. I mean, I think the XP alone is worth it.
Yeah.
Like I think that
I would wager you're probably making more progress on your season pass than you ever have before.
Yeah, I mean, judging by, the amount I've played versus how I've leveled up my season passes, like,
it's
I felt like
disproportionate.
Yeah, I feel like last season I played a lot more, and I'm already like close to where I was last season, and last
season for me was the worst it's ever been in terms of gains.
Yeah.
They nerfed a lot of things last season, but it was in preparation for this.
Mm-hmm.
We now know. Again, it's not a perfect system. I want to see them refine it. We definitely need.
It's a good first step. It's a good first step.
It's a very good first step. It's a very good first step. But when you have to put in your patch notes that the Gambit rank up is working as intended, maybe it shouldn't be working as intended. Maybe you need to change that to like 7 minor ranks or something. I don't know. But it's completely disproportionate to, like, last week we had one for, or it's this week actually, kill champions and Nightfall the Ordeal, and you get more progress for the higher you go.
Yeah.
If you do the first non-match made one, you can get 35% for each Nightfall you run if you kill all the champions, and it takes like 15 minutes to run a Nightfall. You can get that done in an hour.
Right.
I'm not getting a Gambit rank in an hour unless it's triple infamy weekend and I'm already on a 5 stack going into it.
Right.
Like, that's going to take me probably a couple weeks to get that done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work on that a little bit each week throughout the season, because now I don't want to go play a ton of Gambit, even though I want Gilded Dredgen, and I still need to win like 23 matches or something to get it.
Right.
I now want to backload all this at the end of the season when I definitely am not going to want to play more Gambit, because I want to do it. Now I'm going to hold on to all my Gambit challenges next season.
Right.
Why should I go kill my doing this outside of like the ornament for whatever next season's pinnacle is? Right. Why should I go kill myself for this if I'm not going to have my time respected?
Right.
So, that's my like kind of negative piece, I guess, for the week.
Yeah.
It's a great first step, though. It really is.
I think over the next couple seasons they can really refine this and get it down to us.
Oh yeah.
By the time Witch Queen comes out, this will be down to a science and hopefully.
I'd wager by the time Solstice comes out, this thing's going to be refined. But yeah.
But
the other thing that I want to address, though, on a much more positive note, this is our last topic, and it's going to kind of tie. It's basically going to lead straight into the lore corner, though. I'll talk about the narrative of the season, Corey.
Yeah.
We've all, by this point, I think we've all seen it from prominent people that read and analyze the lore. From Bife, Mylan Games, a few other people in the community who have said this feels like it's peak seasonal storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Between the seasonal quest, the lore you get. So we're getting 2 different lore books everywhere. We're getting from the front, and we're getting Empress. But you're also getting the captain's log if you do Presage every week.
Mm-hmm.
The scannables are telling a story in there too, and it's just we have all these different narratives going on right now, and they're all still somehow fitting into an overarching story. Like you've got Crow's storyline, you've got Saladin's, you've got Amanda Holiday is back into the fray. We got a piece this week, which I'm really excited to read here in a few minutes, about Zavala and Ikora.
I know. Just to have Ikora back, kind of weaving back into the story,
and it's
like
beautiful.
Because I know they said next season she kind of has
season.
She has thank God, because we just talked about that like a month ago. Like, where's Ikora been? And now, awesome.
We talked about it like 2 weeks before the state of the game came out.
Yeah.
Again, huge fan of how they're doing the seasonal storytelling. So, if you have not watched this week's cutscene, I urge you to pause this, log into the game, watch the cutscene, and then come back and hear us talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is something Corey and I talked about, this specific style of cutscene multiple times since we started Tower Casuals. We want to see this kind of storytelling. And it's amazing. It's a voiceover from Zavala talking about, being out in the tower, being in the gardens, the very first garden that they ever planted when he was there raising the city walls. And he heard a rustling behind him, and he turns around and he says it was a phantom, like a ghost. The ghost of Uldren Sov. And before he could react, he calls out to him to warn Zavala of an assassin. Zavala turns and shoots the Scion dead. And then he says when he turns back, Uldren was gone. Was it a ghost? It has to be. We would know if he was alive, essentially. Mm-hmm. So Zavala's starting to suspect things now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where this gets interesting. And I said we were going to loop back to this with the Keitel tweets.
Right.
There is one tweet in particular, and this is what Bife, myself, and a few others have been trying to figure out. If these tweets are canon, Keitel did not send the assassin.
Yeah.
Her particular tweet says that if she wanted to kill you, it would be face-to-face. If I wanted to kill Zavala, I would have done it face-to-face. The working theory is that if that is taken at face value, there is one Scion leader that is unaccounted for in the franchise, and that is the last of the Scion sisters from Season of Dawn,
mm-hmm.
the one who set the Almighty on a collision course with the last city. She was never confirmed killed and has disappeared.
Yeah.
This is the theory that Bife is working off of, and that a lot of us are very rapidly growing to embrace. And that would just be a gigantic swerve out of nowhere to come back to that, but to keep with the theme of we are intertwining the story told in the seasons and keeping that mostly separate from the narrative going on in the major expansions.
Mm-hmm.
It would come back to the Saint 14 storyline. Zavala is almost certainly in next week's cutscene figuring out who the Crow really is because he saw him without the mask. We hear Osiris in the weekly mission this week chiding him like a child.
Yeah, and we also know at some point they are together and Crow does not have the mask on. We know that. We saw that in the...
I firmly believe that is next week's cutscene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's going to be one more weekly quest after that. I do not think they are ballsy enough to kill off Zavala.
No.
Not in a seasonal story.
Yeah.
But it's becoming increasingly clear. There's going to be a reckoning with Crow. There's dialogue when you do a battleground this week. It's Crow and Amanda Holiday talking, and Amanda says, they've lost so much. Like she's basically grieving over the fact that somebody tried to assassinate Zavala. She basically says that Zavala and Ikora, they're family, and I've already lost family. I lost Cade. We lost Cade. And Crow is like, I'm sorry for your loss. I wish I could have known Cade. I'm sure that we would have had grand adventures together or something along those lines. And Amanda says, well, you can rest easy. The guy who killed him got what was coming to him. And we don't quite know if Crow knows that he was Ultron.
Yeah. I still don't. I think he knows that he did something, but I don't think he
absolutely knows he did something.
But no. I mean, like, I don't think he knows that this is what he did. But I feel like in the coming weeks we're going to see him start putting the pieces together.
I think it's next week. I think it is imminent. There's no way him and Zavala are in a cutscene together, and he does not know the truth at that point.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if Glint throws himself in the way of the light dampening technology to save Zavala's ghost. Or if Crow throws himself in front of it.
Yeah.
And is willing to lose his connection to the light for a bit to prove himself. I was here appointed as Zavala's bodyguard. And Osiris basically tells him, you go back to keeping watch, you keep that mask on, and you keep silent. You will be by Zavala's side. You are never to divulge who you are or to even speak to him.
Right.
But you will be out in the open now as his personal guard. Something is happening in the next week or two that will lead into the Proving Ground strike. I can't wait. If this is the kind of seasonal storytelling we can expect in a season, this is a really great way to keep us coming back every single week.
Yeah. I also wonder if something happens, maybe if he's protecting Zavala and either he gets killed before his ghost brings him back and they take the mask off to see, who he is, or if he gets hit with a stray bullet or something and it breaks the mask or something. You know what I mean? I feel like something like that. The way they find out is not going to be something intentional.
It has to be self-sacrificial, I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know Zavala that well. He doesn't know what he did in his past life, but it doesn't matter because you're a guardian.
Yeah.
That is a theme that we keep coming back to time and time again. It doesn't matter what you used to do. You're a guardian now. You have a second chance at life. Your slate is wiped completely clean. And he's going to be one of the very few guardians who will find out about what he did in his past life. I do think that these seasons ultimately are telling they're telling bigger stories. They're telling the coming of Xivu Arath and, the wake of destruction she's leaving. She destroyed Torabal, which, is why Keitel is here in our system now, with Cabal refugees, with women and children even, and wants them to survive somehow. And at the same time, though, you have Crow's storyline, which I really think is the main seasonal narrative this year is about the Crow. We saw almost all of Season of the Hunt revolved around him with the exotic. And he's increasingly involved in the seasonal narrative this season with Osiris. Osiris has been chiming in last season. He's been a big part of this season. Saladin's finally back in it. At some point, there's going to be a schism in the tower, and I think it's coming at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see Ephrodite come back to host the Iron Banner before Witch Queen comes around.
Yeah.
There's been quips about her recently.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm at this point, we got to pay attention to every single ounce of dialogue. With that being said, we're gonna get to the lore of the season. God damn it, I lost I lost my page.
Oh no, Josh lost the page.
Josh accidentally closed out of a tab.
That's what happens when you close tabs.
I think.
Oh man.
I think these are the two. I don't think that we have. Yeah, we read the one about Crow being undercover last week, I believe. With the Eververse being canon now.
Yeah.
So we're going to read the first one. It's called The Restless Dead. Ikora approached Zavala at his post in the courtyard. He was looking out at the city the same way he always did, even before he was commander. The blend of fierce determination, love, and dread. A combination Ikora knew very well herself. She stood next to him, resting her hands on the railing, looking up at the traveler and the stars. They say before the collapse, cities were so bright they outshined the stars, she said quietly. It was no surprise to her when he said nothing. Living for hundreds of years didn't endow you with deep understanding of another person, it turned out. Close and steady partnership did. She knew him by now. He held his fears close to his chest, protecting the people he cared about. But with time, with patience, he would let her see. Sometimes. So she waited. I keep seeing his face, Zavala murmured after a long silence. Ikora looked at him, her expression failing. When she spoke, her voice was soft with grief. Cade? No, Zavala said. He gripped the railing with both hands, a gesture of frustration and self-doubt. Uldren Sov. Ikora straightened, surprised. That sharp feeling of being caught off guard, of realizing you'd missed something, froze her for a moment. What do you mean? She asked cautiously. In the tower, Zavala said. Crowds. He hesitated. I saw him in the gardens. He called out to me to warn me about the assassin. Silence again. Zavala exhaled slowly. Do you ever listen to the old Golden Age stories Eva tells during the festival? About apparitions of the dead? Ghosts, Ikora said quickly. That's what they called them. But those are fairy tales. Who needed ghost stories when the dead could already get up and walk? She watched Zavala sidelong, waiting for him to say it, waiting for him to ask. I don't know why my mind goes to folk stories. I suppose because the alternative is... Too hard? Ikora interrupted softly. Too hard to imagine. Zavala closed his eyes and nodded. Neither of them said anything for a few minutes. Eventually Zavala broke the silence. But if he were back, we would know. Ikora stared straight ahead. She felt him watching her, checking her. He was so tired. So tired. He would trust whatever she said. She reached up to put a hand on his shoulder and said gently, as her gut twisted with guilt, we would know. Zavala placed his hand over hers. They stood together, looking out at the last safe city of Earth, with a profound distance between them that Ikora had never felt before. Man, we've said it a couple times now. The seasonal lore is incredible this season. If you're not reading it week to week, it's phenomenal. Just like the Crow story was last season with Tangled Web. This Ikora knows. Ikora 100% knows. And when they say she's coming back into the story next season, I think it's because she knew and she kept the truth from Zavala. I'm fairly certain Osiris trusted her and not Zavala.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a schism in the Vanguard, I think you're going to have a couple of different factions kind of emerge. You know, Drifter's kind of doing his own thing already. He's kind of hanging out with Eris and Stranger a lot. We know Zavala chastised him for going to Europa.
Do you think this is going to bring on like the faction war stuff again from...
Oh God, I hope so.
But instead of like New Monarchy and Future War Cult and stuff, it's like Zavala, Drifter, and Ikora all,
God, that would be so cool.
Pledge your allegiance to one of them instead.
I mean, then you have to wonder like how Shaq's going to take this. Saladin, we know, like Saladin was going to fucking murder the Crow.
Yeah.
If he gets a chance, he's going to kill Uldren and Glint. Amanda doesn't yet know that the person that she's flirting with is Cade's killer.
Right. She's
trying to ask him out for drinks. It's it's going to be so interesting to see what happens, because Ikora's the one who wanted vengeance for Cade, and Zavala forbade it. They're kind of on opposite sides of this, it feels. We know Zavala has been racked with guilt over Cade's death, and remember what he says at the end of Forsaken, that we don't yet know what's going to happen because you did this. Well, we do. Uldren is going to come. Uldren came back as the Crow. He has saved Zavala's life. That's going to leave Zavala conflicted. He's now his personal bodyguard. He's one of the only individuals in the history of this universe, besides the young wolf, who has ever directly heard from the Traveler and seen visions from the Traveler. The Speaker himself only got it in his last moments because of a lifetime of servitude. So where do you possibly go from there? Uldren is potentially the greatest guardian of us all, which is so ironic to think about. But at its core, Destiny is a story about second chances and about redemption.
Mm-hmm.
No character exemplifies that more in the current story than the Crow. Right. Cade 6 represented it before. Mm-hmm. Eris has represented it before. Now you're seeing it in the Crow. It's gone from one of the greatest villains in a Bungie game to arguably one of its most fascinating heroes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to cripple alliances to protect the Crow. Our partnership with Spider is all but over.
Yeah.
We may have irreparable relations with Saladin after this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
hey,
if I got to trade Saladin for my boy Crow.
It's crazy though, because like you said, nobody really knows about their past life, but like this is so recent and so just, because like maybe our character maybe has been dead for like hundreds or 1,000 years at some point, and we get resurrected, right? But that he was killed 2 years ago, and now he's resurrected like so quickly. And everybody's still around.
A season after.
Yeah, he's like still like around, and everybody that was there, is still around, right? It's just like his death and his human side are so recent to the history of the game instead of from the golden age or from before. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so just, man. I want to see what happens. Let's go. Let's see what just give it all to me. Give it to me, Josh.
I want to read one more piece before we continue. Before we get to our listener questions, which they're both great questions, so I want to get to them before we quit. Actually, in fact, you know what? We're going to save this one for next week. I take that back. We're going to save this.
Okay.
I want to save this. I want to find out what the lore piece is next week, and I think I want to read these in conjunction together.
Okay.
We're going to save this one. That was Lore Corner. Sorry, I promised you 2 lore pieces. I promise you're getting 2 next week.
It's fine. I think they understand. I think
we're going to save this, and we will eventually, sometime in April, we're going to make our way back to both the Captain's Log and to Tangled Web before the next season starts in May. So. Tell the history of the Crow. I want to work on the history of Keitel at some point, but that's going to take a lot of reading. Yeah. So that may end up be like a whole Cabal history at that point.
Yeah.
But Corey, we have listener questions this week.
Yes, we do. We have 2. Let me get them pulled up here.
We have 2 great ones. Our first one. Comes from our listener Devin. Devin, we appreciate you. It's the mayor of the Deepstone Crypt and the Tower Casuals fire team leader. First of all, thanks for putting on a hell of a show. You guys probably have crazy schedules. The fact you bring the energy to the show every week is awesome. Tower Casuals is my favorite Destiny podcast. It caters to me as a guardian who is interested in Destiny to know what is going on, but doesn't have time to grind everything out. Second, I'm looking to grind some weapons out, but I'm never sure what roles to ask for or to look for. Can you give me and other Guardians a brief explanation on what roles to look for in guns for Crucible? Maybe what they are exactly and which weapon classes they are. Thanks a lot, and see you Starside. Devin, first off, thank you so much for writing in. We appreciate you. We love it when you guys write in. For Crucible, I mean, so a lot of people are going to tell you it's a hand cannon meta. It always is. Getting this season, particular weapons you can get this season, for example, a palindrome from Nightfall Ordeals is going to be a really, really good one for you. I'm not personally a massive hand cannon user, but in terms of one exotic ones you can earn right now, palindrome and oh god, what is not Steady Hand? Steady Hand was the Iron Banner one last season. Bottom Dollar from Gambit are both really good ones. Outlaw is a good role to get on a hand cannon. I don't quite remember if rapid hit rolls on them, and I don't off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember what my exact rolls are on palindrome. Personally, I like to go in with a good scout rifle. Now that scout rifles are kind of back in the meta play, a very good roll, Dead Man's Tail is one to go in there with, especially if you go get the Catalyst done. That thing is, it should be illegal in the Crucible with the Catalyst. It's unfair. It fires more rapidly. On Dead Man's Tail specifically, I like 4 times the charm. I like subsistence and snapshot sights. Snapshot, of course, lets you draw your weapon and aim down sights a lot quicker. 4 times the charm. It gives you the damage bonus, and then subsistence. For every hit that you land, you refill 1 round from your magazine.
Oh, jeez.
So on a gun like that, it's great. I really, really, really like that gun. I like Dead Man's Tale with subsistence. That's what I've been running in the Crucible a lot this season. Pairing it with, I'm sure that I've got friends screaming into the void right now at me saying this. I run double primaries a lot. I tend to run a scout and an auto or an SMG. Particularly, I like running the Ikelos SMG a lot. It can still drop for you. It's a little bit harder to get because it's a world drop, but it's not going to be sunset. Highly encourage trying to get a good Ikelos SMG. The particular role that I like is I have Vorpal weapon on mine, which deals increased damage to guardians and their super or high-level PvE enemies, oranges and yellows, for example. And I have it with Seraph rounds, so rounds will bounce off of surfaces. It's really great for getting around some of those really annoying Titan shields. And in close range encounters, it's basically a laser, even on console. I also like a really good pulse, though. I've been searching for a pulse that I like as much as my beloved Blast Furnace, which is now Sunset. And I think I have finally found it in Third Axiom. The particular role that I have is Genesis and Dragonfly, which is not a great PvP role. But I'll tell you, I have never received another roll of this gun. I got this not a couple weeks ago. It may have been, I don't know if it was this season or last season that I got it to drop. But I've only gotten 1 drop of it. And I cherish it like it's my firstborn at this point. That thing is great. Put a targeting adjuster on it. Anything with Head Seeker is usually a good bet for Crucible, I would say. Just for popping that with a targeting adjuster, I mean, man, you can be so lethal at that point. Fusions aren't really meta anymore. I mean, you can still use them. Glasteochasm is a good one, but if you didn't get it during the Dawning, you can't get it anymore, unfortunately. Corey, what are some of your favorite non-exotics to use? And then we'll do exotics real fast after.
Man,
in PvP.
some
of your favorite perks.
I mean, I'm really, honestly, I'm really not the guy to ask the perk question, but I do like the 7th Seraph shotgun with Vorpal on it. I do use that quite a bit. I'm a big shotgun user. I like the escalation. Well, I guess it's the Prophecy Ikelos shotgun also. That thing is pretty nasty. I do have the Dead Man's Tale that you're talking about, Josh. I do have that one. I do use it in Crucible. I do like a good scout rifle. If you are able to get that and then get the Catalyst done, I'm not a high enough light level to do the Catalyst yet, but to get it yet, but that thing's pretty nasty even without it.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
Even without. If you can just get random rolls on it, then it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm still looking for a good pulse rifle. I can't. But I mean, I also use the Ikelos SMG a lot too.
I did pull up my exact roll for Ikelos SMG. I have full bore, Seraph rounds, dynamic sway, and tap the trigger. I did put down my Vorpal one, I realized. So dynamic sway, if you've never used it, improves accuracy and stability while continuously holding down the trigger. If you're using an SMG, you're holding down the trigger the whole time, especially in the Crucible. And then I have I have tap the trigger also, which grants a period of increased stability and accuracy on initial trigger pull.
Yeah.
So that first burst is like a laser. So you aim for the head and hope for the best. And then, of course, the Seraph rounds. Rounds over-penetrate targets, bounce off hard surfaces. Full bore greatly increases range, decreases stability, decreases handling speed. But everything else, my other perks balance that out completely. And I have a range masterwork, I believe, on it.
Yeah.
You really can't get much better than an SMG right now, than that SMG in Crucible if you're looking for a short range option. I think that Fellwinter's hasn't been nerfed yet. You can buy it out of the kiosk still.
Yeah.
If you're going to take a shoddy in, I feel like that or the 7th Seraph that Corey uses are your go-tos for a legendary. In terms of pulse rifles, I was trying to look for my exact roll. I have the Trials Pulse. I have Messenger, so I don't want to sit here and promote Trials weapons too much, but Messenger basically has been my go-to weapon since I earned it in week 1 this season. I have a PvE roll for it specifically with Rapid Hit and One for All on it. Rapid Hit, of course, rapid precision hits, temporarily increased stability and reload speed. If you can pop off 5 of those with this magazine, it's a magazine of like 32 and it's a 3 burst.
Yeah.
Like you're going to hit that every time. Not Rapid Hit is great in Crucible, but I like to use it against tough enemies in PvE as well, because when paired with One for All, hit 3 separate targets, increases damage for a moderate duration. So if you're just popping headshots on like really easy enemies, use the back half of your magazine on an orange or a yellow. It's a great combo to have.
Yeah.
I like that one. I know we're talking about Crucible, though. To try and make this really quick, Corey, do you have any other weapons that you really like? I got 1 or 2 more I want to address.
I mean, in Crucible specifically, not really, but I do. I mean, Gnawing Hunger is still pretty decent if you have a good roll on it.
Gnawing Hunger is great. It's a great auto rifle. Honestly, it's probably still a best in class with damn near anything. Honestly,
yeah. I think the Iron Banner pulse rifles is good, but you need to have a really good roll on it. The Time Worn Spire is actually pretty decent. I use it in Crucible.
Time Worn Spire is the Iron Banner pulse this season, by the way.
Yeah, I like it. I wish I had a better roll on it, but I mean, I have Iron Gaze and Moving Target on it, which it's not great, but
I like the Iron Banner specific perks personally.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It just I wish I had a better.
I have a
second
forward
perk.
path that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite primaries. We were talking about bottom dollar earlier, and the roll I have in mind, even though I'm not a huge hand cannon user, it is a 120. It's a revolver. What it is I have Feeding Frenzy, so every rapid kill progressively increases reload speed, and then Rampage. Kills with this weapon grant increased damage, stacks 3 times. That's almost as close to a god roll as you can ask for a 120 in the Crucible. So definitely, I would say go to Gambit if you want a really good hand cannon. Go grind out for a bottom dollar, or wait for Palindrome to come up. That's the other one I know. Nerd Generalist has been running that a lot. I have Ricochet rounds, quick draw, and rangefinder on mine. So slap targeting adjuster on it. I'll try it. In terms of exotics, Thorn and Crimson are really, really good hand cannon options. Hawkmoon, if you get the right roll, can be. But Hawkmoon is definitely I would say a more skill-based hand cannon. Not as bad as Last Word, but it is more skill-based. At that point, I like to run Outbreak Perfected from time to time in the Crucible. I do think that there are better options or almost better options now Unless you have the catalyst for it, you're probably going to find a better legendary option, such as Third Axiom at this point. It fires at about the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like, I mean, we all make jokes about it. Jotun. If you want to troll people and get hate mail, use Jotun, especially in comp and trials. Beyond that, though, it comes down to personal preference. The meta is such at this point where it's so ability based. You can basically use any weapon you want to and still do really good. I play off meta all the time, and I have a pretty not great, but I have a decent KD. Yeah. I've been doing pretty good in Crucible the last couple of seasons, and I play off meta a lot.
Yeah. All I can say is, like, I'm not great at Crucible, and I have like a 1.5 KD right now, and it's I'm not using any kind of like super rolls or anything, which I would like to get, but again, I haven't really had a lot of time to play.
As far as snipers go, Frozen Orbit, that's the Crucible sniper that can drop. I would say Frozen Orbit is good. Sidearms are still stupid good. Especially if you got a Fool's Remedy from the last Iron Banner, or not last Iron Banner, the Iron Banner and Season of Arrivals. I think it's still loot pool, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Fool's Remedy is good. High Albedo can be good in the right situation in Crucible. I used to run. What was it? I would run my Jotun, but I would have Breach Light on as my primary before it got sunset. There's so many good options though right now, dude. Like, you really can't go wrong. I want to think a little bit more on this question. We're going to come back to roles in a couple of weeks when we have Nerd Generalist on the show. He and I will dive into some roles because we're going to talk some trials when he comes.
Yeah,
on.
He's probably
got a bone to pick with trials. We may get A1 Johnny in here.
Yeah, those are the guys you have for roles. I'm a PvE guy. I'm not a.
I could kit you out for a raid or for a Grandmaster right now, but Crucible is, I'll be the first one to tell you, at least casual Crucible is about as far as I go. If you're talking like, oh, you want to go play comp or you want to play a 4v4 mode, I'm probably not the guy to ask.
Yeah.
But those are things that have worked for me with my particular skill set. At this point, you know what you're comfortable using in Destiny. And I would say, honestly, use that. Use that, experiment a lot. This is a game that experiments and rewards you finding uncanny combinations.
Yeah, and if you use what you're comfortable with, and you like, if you go searching for those guns with better rolls, like, that's what I've been doing, honestly. Is like, I find what I like using and then find better rolls for those weapons.
But remember two things. It's really easy to overlook. If it's a gun that you're really enjoying, spend those masterwork materials. Get that full bonus of your trait that's at the bottom of your screen. Get that bonus. It doesn't cost that much to do it. It costs a handful of enhancement cores, legendary shards, and weapon parts. Just do it. It's worth it. I promise you, if it's something you use regularly. It's something I still struggle to do with weapons I really like because I'm really stingy on my materials, even though I got like 2,000 cores. The other thing I would encourage is weapon mods. Put mods on those guns. If it's something that you like using, have reloaders for those, and for your abilities on your armor, so that way you are a machine. Like, it's just, honestly, that's where we come down. Like, it comes down to, it's not just what weapon. You can have the meta weapons in the world, and you can still, like, you don't have the right tools for it. So maybe we'll dive into like what makes, some of these classes. We'll talk PvP classes here in a couple weeks or something. This is something I want to get back to, but I want to get different people in here who play either more PvP than Corey and I, or who play different classes than us, who play, who go and dive into comp a lot more than either one of us is willing to do.
Yeah.
And can definitely follow the meta and play it a little bit more. And then, I'll come back and talk about raid stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
But Corey, do you have anything else? We're going to move on to our next question, if not.
I do not.
Okay. So this next one comes from Jameson. Hey, Guardians, I've been playing Destiny for a long time. Found a lot of great friends and a lot of great times. I've also been enamored with how long the game has endured through its roller coaster ride of an existence. Why do you think it's endured, and how long do you think Destiny will be around? Thanks for taking my question. Big fan of Tower Casual since the highlight of my podcasting week. first off, thank you so much for that. We really do appreciate that. It's the highlight of Corey and I's week too. We say it every single time we sign off. Once the cameras are off, it's the highlight of our week. This is my favorite project that I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love just coming on talking about the game that I play all the time. This is my go-to. Even if I say, hey, I'm taking a break. Me taking a break still means I'm probably going to log in at reset anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to doing it after like 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Destiny is, it's the game. It's the game that we fall back on, right? It's what it is.
I mean, you say here that, you found a lot of great friends and a lot of great times. I mean, Corey and I met through a Destiny Facebook group back when Taken King came out.
Yeah.
Trying to solve the sleeper stimulant puzzle. That's how we've told this story so many times before. Like, that's how we met. That's how we became friends. And it's happened throughout the years. We'll party up, we'll run into each other, and we finally decided to do a show together.
Yeah.
But Nerd Generalist, Colonel Panic, Joe does a lot of stuff with us now. Joe and Nerd do a lot. My best friend from one of my best friends from high school, junior high, he and I grew up playing Halo together, and now, even though he's married with 2 kids, we still find time to play Destiny a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
We still find time to do it. That's something my girlfriend and I do together. She loves the universe. She plays a lot less now that she has a full-time gig as a nurse, but we played a ton of Destiny in the early years of our relationship during D1.
Mm-hmm.
We played a lot of Destiny 2 and a lot of Forsaken, especially together.
Mm-hmm.
She's raided with our groups before. We A1 Johnny, we met him and Max and Phil and like that whole group. Like, there's so many groups of people I've been privileged to get a chance to meet and play with, and it had become a part of my overall gaming life. I don't just play Destiny with these guys. Mm-hmm. I've been known to go on heists, to be a pirate, play Project Winter, Jackbox nights, things like that. Like, that's part of this game, and that's something I've always loved about Bungie games, is how it breeds community and it breeds family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
And they've been doing that. They've been doing that since Halo, pretty much Halo 2, honestly. Like
Halo 1, dude, LAN party night.
Yeah.
We were doing those when I was 11.
I mean, like the online community type stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like LAN parties for Halo 1 are just like...
It was really the first major online console community. I feel like I can pretty comfortably say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason that first-person shooters are popular on consoles.
Yeah.
Was Halo and Halo 2. It's Bungie, and they've pioneered a new kind of game that we've talked about a lot before. No one else has really replicated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's part of why it continues to endure, though.
I mean, look how many games have tried, right? Like, I mean, the closest game that has done this probably is The Division, and it's not even close, right? I mean, you look at
Destiny still offers you, a lore experience. I feel. Despite what some classes like Titans may see, a customization option, it's something they've really stepped up. But it's a game that continues to learn and evolve, and it does despite all the memes, it truly does listen to its community.
Mm-hmm.
You look at things like raids. That's still something like Destiny is. Destiny's done raids. Division has tried to do raids. They don't hold a candle to Destiny raids. Avengers is supposedly doing a raid. Like, I imagine Outriders will probably do one at some point.
Are they?
I have no idea. I'm guessing at this point.
Anthem said they were doing raids too, and look where that's
Anthem
at.
Look how Anthem turned out. This is when Vault of Glass came out, it was such a singularly unique experience. And I say this, like, I found a whole playgroup just from a random LFG post to do Vault of Glass a week after it came out. Mm-hmm. Guys who already cleared it taught me, my buddy Matt, and another friend of ours, Steven, how to do it. And Matt and I would go on to raid with those guys for like the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday we had a standing raid appointment. They eventually moved on to other games. We took a big break from Destiny, came back. They've never come back to Destiny. It's cool. We did so much year one stuff together, though. Vault, Crota, Prison of Elders. I'm pretty sure we did a run at Oryx with them. It's such a great community building experience. For every post you see on Reddit of, I had a super rude LFG, God, I had such a shitty time, we were there for 12 hours and then I got kicked and people locked me out of getting my gear. For every post I see about that, I see about another 3 dozen that are like, this is the best community I've ever seen in an online game. This is a caring community that takes time to teach and shows you how to do encounters, who shows you how to get the loot, who will explain things to you. That is the enduring legacy of Destiny. The lore is phenomenal. The world building is great. The encounters, doing prophecy for the first time, not even knowing what it is and going in completely blind was amazing.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week, where like we ended on what our favorite, like our most memorable moment in Destiny was, and it's like, well, that standing raid night we had on Wednesday nights with my old clan was like, we're gonna raid, we're gonna take down orcs, and it took us a week and a half to get there, right? It did, but we got there. And when you saw orcs float away for the first time, and you take that screenshot of your fire team to post on whatever to show you,
everybody's doing the Carlton.
Yeah,
everyone's doing the Carlton.
That's like, man, that was something special.
It's still it's one of the most special games I've ever played. People can say whatever they want about the franchise. I think that's the enduring legacy of this game, though, is the friendships. It's a meme, but the friendships you make along the way, right?
It is.
You can have all the lore in the world, which I love. I have 3 lore books that sit on my desk.
I have 3 lore books that are on that bookcase behind me
that I look at constantly, when I'm trying to figure out, what stories do we want to tell, okay, what do I need to be able to reference in the current lore and things like that. Like, I have Ishtar Collective bookmarked on my computer. I have Destiny wallpaper. If you're watching this on video, I have a Titan shield and Engram lights behind me. Like, there's Destiny shit all over my apartment. Like, I love this franchise to the point where I'm an apologetic for the game. Even though I'm willing to take Bungie to task when they really fuck things up, like Trials, it's still like, no matter how mad I get at this game, I always kind of come back to it. It's my social game. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I've had a shitty day, or friends have gone through something, like, friends have lost jobs, they've lost loved ones. We've gotten through it by, taking out our rage in the Crucible, or failing continuously at a raid, just like popping a squat in the EDZ,
Yeah.
Like, literally pulling up a chair and popping it out and sitting there and, just hanging out, because it's our social game. It's our place to hang out there in the tower, things like that. And that's why it's gone on. I mean, as for how long is it going to be around? I mean, I kind of felt like we were probably going to end after Lightfall.
Yeah.
I felt like we might have gotten another set of seasons and that was going to be it. But now they're making it pretty clear, like, we're doing another expansion after that, because we can't wrap the story. But then we're going to keep it going even beyond that. Like, this just ends the Light versus Darkness saga.
Yeah, it feels like I
can't wait.
It feels like whatever's after the Light and Dark saga is like, what? It's like the first time we're like, how do you do Destiny without the light and the dark? Like, what does a world look like without the Traveler, or without, you know what I mean? Like, what does it look like?
The possibilities are infinite, but as for how long this is going to go, I mean, with how Bungie did the restructuring, we talked about this. We talked about this for a couple of weeks now. We did the breakdown of it, then we did the state of the game with Nerd Generalist, and this is a franchise that clearly is here to stay. It is at the core of who Bungie is now, in a way that they didn't want to make Halo. They saw a finite ending with Halo. And to be fair, maybe we should have left it at that. With Destiny, though, they have deliberately expanded the universe to these gigantic proportions, but they keep coming back to everything that's in the lore. I mean, we're going back to things that were written in year 1.
Right?
Like, we're still dealing with the Books of Sorrow. Savathun was first mentioned in the Books of Sorrow in the Taken King. That was 6 years ago, guys.
I know. It's
by the time Witchwing comes out, it will be 6.5 years. That came out when I was just learning how to walk again. I had just graduated college, and I was basically living on a couch. And it's, I don't know, like, Destiny is, it's one of those rare games that, like, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox, I promise, because we're going late, but it truly is a game. Like, it changed my life. It's given me some of the best friendships I've ever had. It's given me some of the best gaming memories I've ever had, and I hope that I'm doing this still 5 years from now, 5-10 years from now. I hope I'm still playing it. Maybe not as religiously as I do now, but I hope that this is still a part of my regular repertoire, that I'm still keeping up with the lore. I'm reading the comics, or I'm watching, if there's a web series, I'm watching that, you know?
I mean, I hope like
is still doing this when he's like 70.
I mean, like, you know, unless one of us gets some sort of like dream job where we're not, allowed to do this. I hope we're doing this 3, 4, 5 years from now. You know what I mean?
hope so. I mean, this is before we end the franchise, somebody has to tell me what the fuck Zur actually is.
Snake face.
That tentacle-faced fuck. I need to know what he is.
That apparently in real life live on one of the moons of Jupiter or something.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, it was like found. I was found on this moon, and like, I feel so bad every time NASA posts something like that, because it's always a ton of Bungie fans that come in with just the memes, and just like they were brigading him with pictures of Zur, and I'm like, oh no, now we have to explain what the 9 is, and people are just like, Bife, we need your help, tagging him, like linking to Bife's 4-hour history of the universe video from before Shadowkeep.
Right.
Probably still the best YouTube video I've ever watched.
Dude, I wish Bife's lore was like in a podcast feed so I could just listen to it all the time.
It's hard for me to pull up a YouTube video and be able to listen to it without wanting to watch it.
I mean, even if he has like a Patreon or something, I could pay him like $5 just a month just to listen to his lore.
ASMR lore readings.
Yeah. I still fall asleep to his lore readings, by the way, sometimes. I will throw YouTube on, fall asleep.
On that note,
Bye, if you put me to sleep, thank you.
That's what he wants to hear.
He's got a great British announcer voice. It soothes me.
Corey, I think that wraps up.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else before we get out of here?
No, no, we don't have anything else. It's 10:42 Eastern time. I have to be up for work in 6 hours. So
we did 2 pretty long shows back to back.
We did. Yeah, if you're interested in listening to us talk about Bethesda and Xbox, you can check out the Standard Definition podcast feed. It'll be there, most likely. So
maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to edit this and get this up tonight.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's about wraps it up. Josh, I'm very proud of this show. I keep looking at the stats and how they keeps going up, and out of all the podcasts that I do or produce or whatever, this is the one that keeps growing the fastest.
I love this. I think there's a shared love for this game out there amongst the fans, and it's just, I don't know, like you can never have too many opinions on a massive game like this, I think.
Yeah. And we
have the guys who don't know what they're doing in PvP.
Yeah. That's me. But I mean, look, even if our opinions are negative, it's because we are passionate about a game that we love, right? And there's no shortage of negative opinions over the years for this franchise. Let's be honest. But it's still going. It's still thriving. I hope I'm like in a nursing home someday playing this game on like my Xbox Series quadruple X.
He's going to be playing it like via brain dance.
Yeah, where the whole room is just like, remember that movie Gamer?
I do, unfortunately.
I'm playing Destiny in that.
I try to forget that movie happened, to be honest with you.
Nope. It opens with Marilyn Manson's rendition of that one song. I can't even remember. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired. Let's get out of here.
Get us out of here.
Thank you so much for listening to Tower Casuals. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you consume us. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us. We would really, really appreciate it if you left us a nice review. If you're on Spotify, remember to follow us. Josh, where can we find you?
As always, Twitter and Twitch as @Josh_Finn with 2 N's. I talk a lot of Destiny, a lot of video games, a lot of movies, some anime. I'm going to be starting to play Fallout New Vegas for the very first time this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Excited. I've never played it.
That's exciting. I hope it goes well for you.
It probably won't. It's okay.
That's fine. It's fine. You can find me at IamCorinHG on Twitter. Check out all the things that I do. Just follow me on Twitter. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to be on.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah. I really don't know what's happening. Like, probably 3/4 of the time. So, I'm going to be out for a few weeks on this show. Josh, I trust that you will treat the show with care. I'm not sure about Nerd Generalist. I don't know.
Well, I'll keep him in check.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's begging Keitel to step on him or something. I don't know.
Probably. Dr. Lupo did. So
Yes.
That is now canonical.
It is. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.